I went to Coventry to explore the competitive gaming world. Insomnia iSeries, the biggest gaming event in the UK. The event hosted competitive gaming, internet celebrities and new games.
In my job these days I work with Riot Games on the LCS broadcast. I'm one of the in-game observers for the European broadcast of the show. So once we cut to the game and are using the in-game spectate client, that's me and one other guy. I control mainly the replays, talking to production, coordinating, listening to the teams, making sure we know everything's going on and don't miss any of the action that's coming on through.
Bringing the game alive.
Victor in fact going off first, but a steal comes in from Dan. He will lose his life for it, but he got the dragon. That's what he wanted. They brought Victor down. They brought Kassadin down. We'll see who's next to fall. Geobed's focused on Anzalon, but Anzalon will get the kill first before falling himself. Both Rengar and Orianna down. Janna next, then Corki, and now only Rifty left standing for Infuse, and it's an ace for FM Esports.
How can you explain esports to someone new that doesn't know anything about it?
Esports is basically video games gone viral, I would say. It's turning video games into a spectator sport and getting more people involved, getting an audience involved and becoming part of a bigger community, I'd say.
What esports is actually a community that loves video games and sees that video games can be a whole lot more than just games alone.
Creating jobs and dream careers in gaming. What do people want to do with their lives in esports?
Esports is basically what I hope my life will be. I hope that I'll be in esports forever, whether it be a player, a commentator, a caster, a coach, or whatever it is. I just want to do something in esports because it's my passion and that's what I enjoy.
Will it grow to other popular sports?
It's getting bigger and bigger, and esports is catching up very quickly. We're even bigger, I believe, than the Baseball World Series. It's just going to keep going that way. Like, everyone plays game these days to some level or another. The reason the games that are big as they are is because they're so easy to get into, and it's literally a case of showing it and exposing it to someone, and they're going to sit down and they're going to get hooked.
For the win, they're rotating really well. They're going to come towards this mid lane. Oh! The Chase gets destroyed, melted where he stands, and that's exactly what we were talking about. Krabby's going to die by himself. The teleport. Shackles is going to
Commentators bring excitement and hype in the games that people watch.
Let's go, bud!
Everyone loves that idea of a game. Everyone loves being able to switch off from the real world and just involve themselves in something. And it's that experience of watching something that you know these guys are incredibly skilled and you know these guys are great at what they do. But there's that feeling of, I could do that. Like, if I put in those kind of hours, if I put in that kind of effort, I could be that guy. And then they'll watch it, and then they'll go home and they'll try it, and they'll get hooked, and the viewer base is just going to grow exponentially because of it. I don't see esports going anywhere anytime soon. I easily see it becoming one of the most viewed sports in the world in a good 10 years' time.
What do people see in the future of esports?
Esports is probably the next biggest industry that's going to be here. You've seen the investment coming in. It's essentially online gaming, people playing for millions of dollars, and it's going to be huge.
Would you define it as a sport?
The internal definition for most people is a sport where you have to do physical activity. You have to immerse your whole body into it. And it's in that regard, that's why it's an e-sport. It's not a sport, but it's a sport in the fact that you have to work hard at it. You have to do so many hours a week, brutal training to actually get to be the best. So I know why it's classified as an e-sport. You can put sport in the word, but activity-wise, I don't know.
Insomnia is the biggest UK LAN event, and it has a lot of money as well, and since we're doing this full time, it's just basically part of the career kind of thing. We have to play any tournament we can. In the grand finals we played against Infused, who are probably either second, they're at least top 3 in the UK now, but they're kind of predictable in a sense. So we did a lot of preparation for them, and the finals they pretty much went to plan, I think.
Game plan for most teams against FM.
In goes Tundra, gets a 3-man stun.
In one team fight, FM Esports won the tournament.
Rafa's now being focused by Tundra. Tundra's down into passive as Leona falls. Massive damage comes out from Chriso onto Dan. Rifty is on the run. Rafa is doing all he can with his ultimate, but Anzalon's chasing them down with the Powerball. Taunt goes off onto Rifty. Tundra comes forward, can't land a slow. Samwise is there to try and focus it down. Rafa will fall. Tundra goes down to the turret. Rifty's on his fountain. Anzalon drops to the fountain, but FM Esports are on to the next turret. Game here up against Infuse, and well earned this £5,000 to take the first place in their Gift Gap Legends tournament.
Yeah, it's been a great day for them so far. They firstly qualified for the 4 Nation spot just by being in this final, and now they've just won it 2-0, taking it.
Winning £5,000 and a trophy to show victory back home as champions. Competitive gaming is largely based on online streams, but does it need to be on TV?
It wasn't so much move away from it, it was more the fact that I don't think it's specifically needed. Having ESPN was great because it reached out to those who maybe didn't know what esports was, but does esports really need to be attracting that audience? It's got a great player base, and if they turn that into a viewer base, I mean, I'm not a big Dota player, but I still went to ESL 1 because of esports, and those are the people they need to be looking at, the people who still play games and still are involved in esports, but maybe not to that specific game. If they get everyone combined together, imagine the numbers. Well, I think if I read somewhere, the World Finals for League got more viewers than the Stanley Cup, I think, which is ice hockey, I think, if I recall correctly, but even so, the viewership's there. As a comparison to an actual sport, you can say we're slowly getting there. Just look at the Reckless situation where he had buyout clause in his contract. That's just like football players. But do we need to be compared to an actual sport? I'm not too sure.
Competitive gaming is getting more popular by not just being competitive but having a big community and enjoyment in the scene. Playing video games with your friends, partying out and hanging around.
Esports is life, as far as I'm concerned. Games, as I mentioned, is my life. It's my work. It's my hobby. If I can find some more time, spare time in the day, it's to look at some more video games, to play some more video games, it's to track or find another esport. Simple as that.